Welcome back to Coffee Talk, guys. Grab your coffee. Join us for our talk today. Today we're going to talk about what kind of increase are we going to get in Social Security in 2024?
That's one thing I think everybody every year about this time, thinks. It says, inflation is up. How much Social Security increase will I get?
So the projected number right now that we've seen is 3.2% for your Social Security increase. It's a cost of living increase, but the thing is, our prescription insurance goes up from $29.50 a month to $65 and something a month.
Like 125% increase.
Yeah. And then even your Medicare premium is going to go up almost $10 a month. So even though there's an increase, it's going to be ate up with all the expenses. So that's something that seniors, we really have to be diligent because if you just live on Social Security alone, oh my goodness, there is no way that it keeps up with inflation.
Whoever figures these cost of living increases, I don't know what school they went to, but they need to go back and rethink the situation.
And I know that the Social Security system is in trouble because they borrowed from it for years and all, but we paid into this.
It's not our fault.
And so this isn't some handout that we're given. We paid into this so that we would have income during our retirement. So these rate increases are really important for us. Now, 2 years ago, I think it was 5.9%. Well, that was a very good increase.
That was more realistic.
Yes. And then last year, I think it was 3.2, and now for 2024, it's going to be 3.2.
And there's been some years they didn't give us any increase, and you think, why is that? Every year there's going to be a cost of living increases. Everything goes up from food to gas and just your insurance and everything. So you ought to at least, I think personally, be at least 5% every year, but that's just my opinion.
And so as seniors, you do have to be diligent of where your money is going. You have to cut expenses. You have to do whatever you need to do because from year to year, you don't know what your cost of living increase will be or even if you will get one. So that's a little scary. So our heart goes out to people who are totally living on Social Security. Because I don't even know how you pay your rent or anything, because it's crazy. The way inflation is, the way things cost. We go to the grocery store, oh my goodness, there's 3 of us in our household, but every week we buy less and less and spend more and more just because of inflation.
Seems like 2 years ago, we could get the very same things and that we are now for $50 less, sometimes more, even less. But things are crazy nowadays, and you just got to do a lot more planning. You got to, you just got to think things out.
You have to be vigilant.
Very vigilant.
With what you have going out because of inflation these days. Because not only is it food cost, it's everything. Your car insurance, your house insurance, everything across the board, everything has gone up exponentially, and our income has not kept up with it. So if you're a senior out there, let us know what are some of the ways that you cut back. What are some things you have done to counter for inflation?
So, if you're thinking about retiring, and you're thinking that I can just retire on my Social Security, I would caution you to kind of rethink it, because what you're getting now, and with the cost of inflation year after year, won't be near as much when you figure the expenses as it is now. 10 years from now, you might get, 3.2% every year, but the cost of living could jump, 7 to even 10%.
I remember when I was growing up, my mom went to get groceries one day, and she came home and she had, I don't know how many bags, it was several bags of groceries, and she was so upset She said, I paid $20 for this stuff at the grocery store. And today you couldn't go get milk and bread for $20.
Yeah.
But back then, they were dealing with the same issues.
Yeah.
Your income didn't match what the expenses were. And inflation this was in the 70s when inflation went through the roof, and interest rates to borrow money was over 8%, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with similar things.
Yeah.
It's like history repeats itself.
Yeah. I just had my 50th class reunion, and one of the things that we looked at was what things cost in 1973, and a brand new car was $3,900. Of course, in 1973, we thought, oh my gosh, that's so high. But what I would give to buy a brand new car for $3,900, or even a cost of a house, a good 3-bedroom, 2-bath house at that time was like $12,000. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't afford that. Man, I would buy a bunch of them now if I could.
Yeah, so it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
We just don't realize, how things have gone up over the years. So,
and we don't know what the next 10 years we think.
Right.
We think the things that we think is outrageous now in cost. We might think, man, I wish I would have bought a new car back then. But we don't know what a brand new car or a new house will cost in 10 years.
And even though there's inflation, our Social Security isn't what we would like it to be, we still are very thankful and glad that we did retire when we did. You just have to learn to be frugal and eat more of your meals at home and do whatever you need to do to counteract the inflation that's going on.
That's why we always are on here saying, as early as you can, put a little bit of money, $5, $10 a week into a 401k or some kind of annuity or something, so that you don't have to rely totally on your Social Security.
Yes, because if you're just have Social Security, you're hurting.
Yes.
You're hurting big time. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining us today on our coffee talk. And let us know, how are you counteracting all the inflation going on? How are you cutting corners and saving money?
We need some good guidelines.
We'll see you next time on Retired and Loving It.
If you'd like to see more of our videos, click the video that just popped up on your screen.